sunflowers stamp set today, and the reason I'm doing that is because the card I'm going to make is a dedication to a really good friend of mine and fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, member of my team who unfortunately passed away in August. She really loves sunflowers and and just loved life and bright and everything else. So I thought I'm gonna make something that will remind me of her. Her name was Tina. She lived down the road from me, and we used to be able to craft together before the lockdown stuff put pay to that. And one of the things that she really loved doing was sort of watching me create something, and like she'd be asking me, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just going to have a play and see what I come up with. And that's kind of what I'm going to do today. I'm going to have a bit of a play. I do have an idea of where I'm going with it. Doing a lot of doing some colouring and some die cutting, and we'll see how the final card turns out. So this is for her. I'm gonna just make it and keep it and have it as a little reminder of her. Okay, so celebrate sunflowers. Lovely imagery on there. I've used the large sunflower before. I'm going to use the small one today, and there are coordinating dies for this, the sunflower dies. Really great set. So we've got dies that cut out the images on the from the set, but we've also got some extra foliage as well, and this really lovely delicate image that cuts out a nice fine line that you can build up and make a dimensional sunflower out of. So that's what we're using. As you can see, I've done a whole load of colouring and die cutting already, because otherwise it was going to be a bit of a long video. So hope you forgive me for that. You're not really going to miss much, but I wanted to show you how I coloured this. So just so that you know, I used Early Espresso for the outline image there. So any of the Stampin' Up! Classic ink pads, which are water based, are suitable for using your Stampin' Blend alcohol markers to colour with. So I did that, and I did some colouring. So I'm going to show you what colours I used. Obviously use what you have, but this was my choice. So it's soft suede that I've used for the centre, and what I did was I laid down some of the dark colour around the edge and in the centre, and then went round again with the light marker. Again, another thing that Tina was just getting to grips with was using alcohol markers and getting to understand that you use a different ink to your colouring medium. Went back in there just a little bit with the dark marker, and so you can now see that there's a bit of shading. It's not complicated, it's just laying down different colours of ink over the top of each other, so it's not, this is not artistry. I'm going to do the leaf next. This is Old Olive. I'm using the dark marker to go around the edge of the petals there, where the petals will be casting a shadow on the leaf, and I'm just going to put a little bit up the stem there, the centre of the leaf, the vein of the leaf, just like that. We'll bring in the light marker, do the edges. Make sure your lids are on nice and tight. And again, I'm just emphasising that shadow again with the dark marker. petals then, I'm actually using 3 colours. I'm going to start with Dark Mango Melody. Dark Mango Melody. And I'm going to use the bullet tip to go over the lines in the artwork over these petals. The small ones at the back, just peeking out, would be more in shadow, so I'm putting some on there as well. So just where the artist has provided some depth, I'm going to go around and add this colour. So the ones at the back are going to get a bit more because they're in shadow. If I just lift that up, you can see what I mean. So and then I've got the Daffodil Delight combo. So the dark marker I'm going to use to fill in all the ones that are in shadow. At the back. Like so. And then I'm going to go over the whole lot with the light colour. Just using the brush tip for this because we're just not being, just want to go over it all. And there we are. I'm not going to go back over with any of the darker colours. I think that just gives it enough definition. Okay, and then so I did that with all those others that I'd printed on the already stamped on the sheet, and I've die cut a whole load of those already. And so it didn't take a long time, but I didn't think you'd particularly want to watch me or listen to me do that a number of times. And what I've done is I've already had a little think about where I might want to have them, so I want to put them all over this background panel, but I want them to be on dimensionals too. So that was another little joke we used to have about dimensionals and how I use them on everything basically. And those of you who watch the videos know that that's the case too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift each one, put on the dimensional, and then replace it into the design. Like so. So we're going to have a really dimensional card. With lots of wow factor, because that's what my Tina had, wow factor. Everyone who met her just loved her. She was just great. you can see that I've tried to orientate the flowers so that we've got different bits showing and overlapping each other. She was a person who she'd already did card making, but it took me a while to convince her about the quality of Stampin' Up products. And when we started crafting together, she was like, "Wow, that's really good." And I'm like, "Well, that's because I use these." And that was it. She got the bug then. So I taught her to stamp, and she really got into it. And she liked to use watercolour pencils. And she definitely liked bright colours. Okay, right, so that's where we've got to. Okay, and we've got all these bits that are hanging off the edge. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some nice sharp scissors and we're going to cut away those excess pieces. Like so. Just using the blade of the scissor to run along the edge of that layer. Oh, just clipped the edge of a dimensional, but it won't matter, that's fine. Some people find it easier to go from the back like this, but as a left-hander I actually find that difficult, so I can't get the blade close enough, so I cut from the front. Whatever is your preference. You could also possibly do this on a paper cutter or guillotine as well. So there we are. So that's what we've got. We've got this really nice dimensional piece. Isn't that cool? Okay. And I can just hear her going, "So what are you going to do with that now?" Oh no, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to layer it onto soft suede cardstock, like so. That's what I'm going to do first. So I think I'll just use the Stampin' Seal for that. Ooh, just enough on my roller for that. So I'm going to have to refill that. Just bear with me a second. So that's where we are at the moment. I'm going to refill. So you know it comes to the end when you see the red tape appear there. And if you just gently pull apart the case, like so, the refills come in a packet like this, which you can use to store your adhesive if conditions in your area mean that the adhesive gets sticky and stringy. And it's just a case of lifting out this light blue insert and replacing it with the other one. Just line up the cogs with the cogs in there. That's it. Press down and then snap that back together. Oh, it doesn't actually snap, it just presses together. But that's together now, okay? And what you'll have to do is just roll the adhesive on a little bit to the front, and then this has to go in the bin. If you check your recycling rules, some places will be able to recycle those. And this is going to go onto a Mango Melody card base. Bright colours. Just what she liked. Okay. Doesn't that look cool? I think she'd approve of that. Just trying to decide if I want anything else to go on there before I tear that down, but I don't think I do. She wasn't one for ribbon and faff. She liked quite simple things. So we'll keep it reasonably simple. And we'll get that on the card, something like straight. Oh, one of the best memories I've got, she said to me one day, I went over, she said, oh, I've got to show you what I've made, I've got to show you what I've made. I'm like, what you made? And she said, look, my layers. And she managed to make this card and get all her layers all nice and straight, and with a bit of practice, which was really, really delightful. It's great to see someone grow in their stamping and card making, and it's one of the things I like about being a demonstrator. Right, the sentiment I've picked is Let's Celebrate You, because that's what I'm doing. I'm celebrating Tina, and I'm using the Early Espresso ink to do that. I'm just going to stamp it along the bottom of this piece of cardstock. I think I've got it straight, but we'll soon find out. And what I want to do is, I don't know whether it will fit inside one of my stitched rectangles, so I'm just going to pop that ink away while that's drying. Let's have a little look for my stitched rectangles. Yep. And there's a long, I don't know whether it's long enough. Yeah, it's not long enough. Which is a pity. So we'll cut it freehand with the trimmer. Very easy to do. Just lining it up. It does seem quite straight on the paper as it happens, so that's good. Makes life easier. And I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring this at all. I'm just looking through the trimmer, this bar that I'm lifting up. I don't know whether they call it anything actually. What do they call this? I don't know. Okay, so it's all nice and trimmed down. I'm just going to smooth down those edges. And then we need to add this on. So it's going to have to go overhang slightly, but it's going to have dimensional sort of in between the place. So we're going to need to stick a dimensional somewhere like there. And what we'll do is we'll just stick it on the card base, which will make it the same height as everything else. And then we'll run some tape along the back, and where it doesn't touch the dimensional, it'll touch with the adhesive. Try and get it straight. Like that. So let's celebrate you. Now, sorry T, but you're going to have some bling. I think you need some bling on there, just to have a little bit of extra sparkle, just as you did. And I think we'll use the champagne rhinestones, a bit more tonal with the rest of the card. pinging off. Excuse my reach. Just going to retrieve it. And we'll have a couple of tiny ones. Up there too. There we are. I love that. Oh, I know what she'd love. Some Wink of Stella. Let's put some Wink of Stella on. Let's do that as well. Just a touch here and there on those petals. There we go. Now it's done. Okay, this one's for you, my darling. Miss you lots. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. All details in the description. And I'm going to leave that in view on my desk as my little reminder of my Tina. Thank you very much everybody. I'll see you again soon. Bye.